Hey guys, I'm Danielle. I'm from the All Black Creators Foundation. I'm the head of community and partnerships. And today I'll show you how you can design cool graphic assets using both Adobe Express and Adobe Stock. But most exciting of all, I have the honor of introducing and chatting with Lydia Hicks today. She's a multidisciplinary artist, scientist, restorer of historic Black resort town Idlewild, and one of my very good friends. Today, I'll also walk you through how I designed the cover for our Instagram resource guide. This month, we're celebrating Pride, and we shared the stories of 18 different Black and queer folks from our community. If you haven't scrolled through it yet, you'll find designers, scientists, cosplayers, illustrators, activists, and small business owners. And I'm going to give you guys a quick peek so you can see exactly what I'm talking about if you haven't had the chance yet, because this guide it's a celebration, it is beautiful, and yeah, well, here it is. So this guide has, like I said, 18 different creatives. You can find this on our Instagram at All Black Creatives, but don't worry, I will be sharing the links underneath this video, and also, again, in the chat if you have not seen it. That's right, I'll be in the chat. The guide is called Giving Them Their Flowers. It is a celebration of queer Black creativity, and it is just to support and to celebrate our community. The first creative that we featured is Honeybee. Honeybee is an illustrator and Adobe Express ambassador as well. So buy her prints and support her work. Seriously, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see more of it. All right, so number 2, we've got Jessica Bellamy. Jessica is an infographic designer and a researcher. They tell stories of Black history, human rights, and radical policy. And if you don't know what data storytelling is basically a way of taking data that's done through scientific research, historical research, and putting it in a way that reads kind of like a story. So that usually will be visual, using infographics. It just helps you dive in and get straight to the point of whatever it is, but in a way that's like telling a story. I love it. Please check out Jessica's work and design, especially if you are interested in Black history and kind of the storytelling of different communities. Jaleel Campbell. Jaleel is a crochet artist and a doll maker. Jaleel uses illustrations and, sorry guys, just gonna put that on. Jaleel uses illustration and 3D modeling to bring the dolls to life. And so if you don't know what 3D modeling is, it's when you take these plastic pellets, which has also been a really cool way people are recycling plastic, and you melt it down into this thin string, which you then use to spin a 3D model of something. And so that is one of the ways that Jaleel prototypes his dolls and then also crochets them. They are so unique and individual, and it is time to start your Jaleel dolls collection. All right, Ohan Ashe is from St. Louis, which is my hometown. She's constantly serving and celebrating the community of Black folks in STL. When you guys scroll through this guide, please make sure that you watch all of the reels and just kind of, it gives you a chance to dive in and really just see what people are talking about and see more about their stories, how to support them. Super important. And I want you guys to be able to have the chance to kind of know and celebrate these creatives like we do. Court and Lex are content creators and comedians. They walk us through their lives in parenthood and family, and it is both relatable and hilarious. So if you need a laugh, you feel a little bit like comforted or seen as a parent or a queer parent, check them out. Court and Lex are hilarious, and I really appreciate them as content creators. Tyler Small's a father, photographer, a digital creator, telling stories and bringing those important moments in our lives to life in a visual storytelling type of way. And I think that that's really a gift. It's really creative, and it's just an amazing skill as a photographer. So please check out Tyler's work as well. Dee Nichols is a newly senior UX researcher at YouTube and the author of The Art of Protest. Her work and her research are incredible. Her book, The Art of Protest, is about creating, discovering, and activating art for your revolution. Please check out Dee's book. Honestly, it is so cool. If you have a chance to get your hands on it, do that. Get your hands on this book. It will change your life. It will help you look at art and activism in a completely different way. Amina actually was one of the earliest creatives that we found when we first started the All Black Creatives Foundation. And it has just been a joy to kind of follow them as they journey through life. And they are autistic, queer, and proud. Honestly, their joy, their creativity, their design, the way that they look at community is really beautiful. And their own self-exploration has been a gift to us, to all of us in the community, just like also finding ourselves and finding the community that we need through realizing that we're not, and in the best way, we're not as unique or alone as we think. Like there are others who also feel how we're feeling, and we can find community in that. And I think Amina just does such a good job of just being real and honest, and also like sharing with us all this beautiful tassel fairy joy. Kiko's a designer and stick stylist, a musician, a drag artist. Honestly, like I feel so much joy every time I see them come across our feed. Please follow Kiko, support their work, go see them at a drag show if you're in their town. Yeah, honestly, such a joy. Saul is a trans artist, a performer, and podcast host of Big Mouths, Big Guts. She inspires us through her creativity and her expression. Honestly, please check out her podcast. Also go and follow all of these creatives on the gram. And support their work. Honestly, like support and building a community around what we do it's everything. Yeah, we all need each other's support. We all need that community. Devry Velasquez is a published author, a rare disease survivor, a community advocate. We love Devry's wisdom, vision, and authenticity. And if you have the chance to ever read through any of the things that Devry has written, honestly, you find yourself really connected and tapped in. And if you have the chance to support Devry, please do. Please follow her. Let her know, like, hey, this is amazing. I've learned some things that you've shared. She's an incredible educator as well. So follow Devry, show some love. Faking Taj is an astrologer, psychic, and cosplayer. He's also, as you can see from this incredible face, an incredible makeup artist. So follow Faking Taj for inspiration, and also get yourself a reading while you're there. Nicole is a graphic designer and illustrator using her platform to celebrate and showcase queer folks in all of their expansiveness. Like, please just go buy a print already. I can see this on your walls. I can see this on my wall. So make it happen. Let's make it happen. Uwawe is a trans Afro-Indigenous liberationist in the service to liberation of all. And I love that. I absolutely am obsessed. Follow Uwawe, and in any way that you can, support Uwawe. Go check out different ways that you can be both inspired and educated, and find out how you can also be a liberationist. Nicole Daniels is an actor and a writer who writes hilarious skits, keeps us laughing, also crying, especially all of the nonprofit boss reels and TikToks. I have cried, I have laughed, because they're so relatable. I'm just so grateful for storytelling that helps me to feel seen as well. And I think Nicole does a really good job of that. So please go watch those. DeQuain Cherry is an award-winning artist and designer who believes in taking risks and stretching the bounds of imagination and creativity. So also, this is a moment to pause, go ahead, get some art, and start your collection 100%. Lydia Hicks is an undisciplined artist, meaning she is fire. She is the fire and the salt. An artist, a cinematographer, and a scientist. Lydia is also the founder of Black Eden Idlewild, which is a Black radical sanctuary. You're going to find out so much more about Idlewild today, because Lydia is who I get to chat with. She's literally on her way home on a flight right now, and I just feel so special and have so much joy that we get to chat today. You'll learn all about Black Eden. And last but not least, August too, and I have to press play on this, otherwise you'll never see their face. August is incredible, an illustrator, a designer, and I'm excited for you guys to actually get to know August a little bit through their work. If you haven't seen it before, it is fun, it is quirky, it's very special. And August is just really cool. So like find them, follow them, buy some prints, and get into it. Well, you guys, thanks for walking through that Instagram guide with me. That was super fun. And I'm excited again to show you how I made that cover photo, which I feel like very beautifully showcased, kind of like housed all of these incredible artists and their stories. And I'm going to jump into Adobe Express so we can talk about how we did what we did. Yeah. So when I knew that I wanted to do this project as a guide and create a cover photo for it, I decided to start with a template because Adobe Express has really incredible templates. And this image right here is actually the first image that I saw. So it was an ad, I believe, for jewelry, as you can kind of see the rings on the hands. And I thought, first of all, this stock imagery is gorgeous. And I know what I want to use this for. Not that it's not incredible, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. So I kept this image and I decided to first just play around and see if anything kind of inspired me. So played around with the words, Black Queer Pride. I played around with the title. This is where I designed the title, giving them their flowers. And I knew that I wanted to create a guide, but at the time, it was just going to be a carousel post. So that's how you can see the text here that says swipe and follow. But yeah, I knew that this imagery was really incredible. And I realized that with the Adobe stock images, I could create, even though it wasn't going to be a carousel, what I could create was a lot of different versions of this project, and you can use them for ads. I use them in stories. It's just really fun to have different versions of something that you're using in a project. And when you work with that in Adobe Express, you can just add so many different pages, and that's literally what I did. And you can see them all here. But again, I knew I wanted to work with this image first. And initially, I didn't realize that it had been cut out, but the background has been removed, and it's also cropped a little bit. So I'm going to just show you a little bit more what I did with that. But this was a really incredible template, and I loved this shape in the back. And we'll give the credit to this initial inspiration and this initial image because I still do love it. I just knew I wanted to go in a slightly different direction. And my second mock-up was this one. So I restored this stock image back to its original version. As you can see, we got the full picture here. We've got all of the hair. We've got the hands all the way down to the wrists. And then also the actual background, which I felt like was actually very strong, and it made the image come forward a little bit more for me. So kept this image, and I played around here with the background. And this part is important, this colored cardboard back here, because I used it in every image, but because there are so many versions of this and there are so many options, I was able to, I mean, look at this. There are 2,324 results for this colored cardboard, and I knew that instantly, okay, that'll be kind of my focal point on each one, and I'll just switch up the color. But keeping it with the cardboard helps it to stay on the theme, and then also kind of helps to keep your branding cohesive. So as you can see, this one here wasn't really textured. It kind of is if you look in the back just a little bit, but I knew I really wanted to bring that texture out. And so that's what I did with this one. But then I was super drawn to this color here, and as you can see, it has a crown. And this means that it is a part of Adobe Express Premium, which you will have access to if you win our giveaway today. We are giving away Creative Cloud, Adobe Creative Cloud free subscription for a year for one Queer Black creative. So if you're here now and you're streaming and you're watching and you're a Queer Black creative, but you didn't register initially, you still have a chance. You can just type your name in the comments, and I'll add you guys to the wheel of names. That's going to be fun, and we'll spin it. But yeah. This color I loved, and again have access to as a premium member, so I decided to switch it out. And as you can see, here we are. Here's this beautiful bright red orange. I felt like this was very iconic for this project. It really stood out and it spoke to me. And so this is the color that we ended up using in the background. Again, kept the image, and as you can tell, I changed the size. So this is not the same size as our initial image, and that is because I wanted to use it both as a real cover and then also as an Instagram guide, and those were two different sizes, but I'll show you a little bit more about resizing in just a second. But yeah, before I do that, I want to show you kind of how these stock images helped me to create some really beautiful iterations of this project. So let's go here. Since this is a copy, here's another stock image, as you can see, from like the same couple, but I'm going to change it up. I'm going to switch it out. So we're going to hit replace. And I found that image doing a search called queer Black people. And then later on, oh my gosh, how do we spell friends, guys? Every time. But I found this really cool, I mean, just beautiful, diverse group of images. And this is kind of where I went in. And if you hit, oh yeah, that one was upside down. So it gave me this one upside down as well. But I love the fact that when you hit replace, it gives you the same crop and same format as your other images. And so you don't have to kind of put it in, resize it, crop it, nothing. It just replaces it for you immediately. And there is so much beautiful imagery in here. Like, I love the diversity and the integration of Adobe Stock into Adobe Express. I think it works really well. And yeah, it was nice to be able to find like a lot of beautiful, diverse pictures of Black folks. I loved it. Okay, so we are going to look at one more image. I love the blue in the background here. And I'm going to show you too. I don't know if you can tell, but because my type, the word queer, Black, and creative are all separate, I have the chance to do something with the images and the design assets, and that's layering. I really wanted to go for the collage feel with this project, which is why I have the fonts all separated instead of as one block like this, because the picture can kind of layer. It's behind the words queer and Black right now and in front of the word creative. And also we have this design asset as a flower in the background and this one kind of layering over the top. And this is something that you can do really easily in Express. So if I want to bring this creative up, this word, all I have to do here is click layer order and I can move it to the top right there. And it just moved it to the top of that picture. And that's really easy if you like don't want to mess up the alignment here by just grabbing it and moving it around, when all you really want to do is just change the order and maybe bring it to the front. So that's a super fun way to create collages. I used it here, and this was creating the YouTube banner, and all of this is collage. I mean, I have this image right here. I can decide, oh, you know what? I like it, but I want to move it all the way to the back, so I can add a different layer. I want to say, oh, I want to move it up all the way to the top, and then I can decide to move my font all the way back to the top, just so that it's still layered. I love this. I love this feature. You can also slide things around. So this photo is in between layers, and I can move it from the left to the right, all the way up and down, because as you can see, it's layered behind these here, but in front of these on this side. I have so much fun playing with order. That might be funny, but I love collaging, and that's a super simple and easy way to approach it and create something that is really textural. So we're going to hop back into Express, and I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to walk you through the fonts and kind of how I played around with fonts. And as you can see on this very first one, I played around with the font animation. I like it. I feel like some of the words, though, were not quite as easy to read, and I didn't want some of my words being cut off, just depending on the size that I specifically wanted to use. And I also didn't want to make it too crazy busy, and so I ended up not going with a font animation. But there are so many fun font animations and so many fun things that you can do. So for instance, let's say if we got rid of these. Still love you guys, but you have to move to the side for this for 1 second. And let's say I just wanted to mess with animation here. I still have what's called right now, it's like a color change, like a color switch, and that's the animation that I went for with this. But there's so many, guys. There are so many different animations that you can choose from. And this is, again, like another place where I really like to have fun is animations. So if I didn't want to do that kind of color shuffle, but I wanted to do a fade, we can fade the words in and out. We can slide them across the screen. This is really fun for not just stories, but also just like if you want to create something that's animated, that's kind of giving people like a visual of who you are, it's good to do something that can be like really engaging. And I think that's what I really like the animation for. It's fun. It's really fun to play around with it. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys and let you know that text animation is a really fun feature. And you can also animate the photo if you don't want to animate the text. So we can do a cool zoom in. We can do a pan. It's fun. It's a fun feature that kind of just brings your design to life, your graphic to life after you've already created it, and you just kind of want to give it like a little bit of an extra punch. Animation is really good. Okay, but I love typography, and that is designing the fonts and our types. So I'm going to go back to this page here where I really messed around with the font pairing of everything. I wouldn't necessarily always go with 3 different types of font in one flyer, but it actually kind of worked here. I knew that I wanted to have something in italics, but also kind of bubbly and fun and strong. And because I like types so much, I actually did like a little bit of research into typography. And I know you guys have seen this if you've done any kind of graphic design stuff. There's like a font pack that you can go online and download. This is like maybe like a little bit old school, but I did this for maybe like MySpace pages, stuff like that, where I would just go online and look for free fonts and just download them to my computer and use it. So kind of that same idea a little bit, but if you have Adobe Creative Cloud, the whole suite, you get Adobe fonts there. And I'm just going to show you that really quickly. So this is Adobe Fonts, and I like played on this for an entire afternoon thinking about how I wanted to create the initial flyer. And not only is it like a super fun way to find different fonts and to figure out what your style might be for a project, but there's also like a free, I watched this. It was live at Adobe Max last year, and someone gave an entire keynote on typography, and I nerded out so hard because it was also like typography, and neuroscience together, and I loved it. And I watched the entire thing, and I found it straight from Adobe Fonts because it gave me right here where you're looking at it, the about, and I kind of fully went in and read the entire about and found out who created the font, and it was wild. You don't have to do all of that, but the easy thing you can do, you just hit activate to fonts, and it's literally now added to your library, and you can access that from Adobe Express. So if I wanted to change this to Mango that I just added, here I am now in, hold on, let me show you guys. I'll switch back to Express. So if I wanted to change one of these to the font that I just added to my library, I'll go to More Fonts, and I believe, I have to remember what that one was called, but you'll be able to go in here and scroll down and find the fonts that you just added to your library, and literally you can use them right away. And that is what I did whenever I came up with these, because I wasn't seeing exactly the font that I wanted to use, but I knew I wanted to use multiple. So anyway, thank you for nerding out with the typography with me. If you're obsessed with font pairing and you kind of want a vibe that's like, again, the collage, but where you've got certain words that stand out, that is a really fun way to do it, is just kind of having different fonts in your project until you find what fits your brand and find what is speaking to you. So yeah, go haywire, find some fonts, find a font that you love, and yeah, you can really honestly just make your project a lot more fun. I'm going to show you guys a couple more things. Something else that I did, as you can see with this project, is I have multiple pages and they're not all the same size. So these first two are both Instagram story size, and this one I resized. It also used to be Instagram story size, but let's go to this project here. And when you're in this view where you're looking at all of the pages in your project, and let's say I wanted to make this one and then also just this orange one right next to it, a different size, you can just select those two and hit resize right over here. And let's say I want to change both of those to Instagram portrait size. And I love that size. It's really good for sharing things on like Instagram and Facebook too, and like just across socials, because it's going to give you that really awesome like portrait size that kind of draws you in. But you can do Instagram landscape, you can do a Pinterest size. I mean, honestly, it's all right there. And honestly, all that I like to do once I've hit resize is to just go in and make sure that my fonts aren't covering up any of the faces in my image. And this, let's say I'll make that maybe a little bit bigger. And I'll just make sure none of my fonts are bleeding off the page on that end. But yeah, that was a quick and easy resize. I love that feature. It's super easy when you created all of the assets that you need and then you just need them differently sized for your different social posts. Super, super easy, super simple. And yeah, I use that probably every single time because I don't want to have to manually resize it and redesign an entire thing. This just makes it super easy. Great tool. Very first one that we ended up going with as the cover, and that's here. This is giving them their full. This is the guide that we ran with, a design asset when I searched for flowers, but there are over and white. Let's say you'll add a white flower. It's super easy to just kind of find exactly what you're looking for. And again, there are thousands and thousands of options for florals, like so many, guys, so many. I do want you guys to see something else too. So I'll go back to the original image. Whenever you are ready to download, if you want this image as a PNG, a JPEG, or a PDF, that's really easy. And then also, this is for my folks who might be automating their posts or a social media manager even. You can schedule your content to social media, and I'll show you guys more about that in another stream. But we have our beautiful design. It's gorgeous. We love it. And I could either download all of my pages and have them ready to go, or just this page. I want it as a PNG. I hit start download. That was incredibly fast. It's done. We're ready. And that is how this gorgeous Instagram guide, giving them their flowers, was brought to life. That's it for our Adobe Express stream today, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been so much fun to walk you through this gorgeous project made super simple and easy with Adobe Express. I always have fun streaming and showing you guys different things that I'm learning with Express. I always have a really good time walking you through projects that I'm working on, because as someone who started out like not in graphic design and you know, I knew how to use Photoshop and Illustrator like a little bit, but having access to Adobe Express just makes my life easy, simple. It helps my graphics to be powerful. It feels really good to have things that are like expensive and expansive. I can change my fonts. I can look through Adobe stock and find what I'm looking for. It's fun. It's amazing. And I hope that if you have not tried Adobe Express yet, that you will. And if you have any questions about how to use it, follow us at All Black Creatives, because we are Adobe Express ambassadors, and I'd love to help you answer any questions that you might have about how to use the software, like how to use it, especially if you are a nonprofit, because the Adobe Express Premium can be free for you if you are a nonprofit, but even just how to use it like as an individual for your personal brand. So as always, if you guys have any questions, please tell me, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out. And again, I love this. I love what I do. I love celebrating, supporting our All Black creatives. And please let me know if you have any questions. We are going to be streaming with Lydia in just a little bit, but I will also be in the chat. If you guys have any questions in the chat, I'll be there to answer them for you. In the meantime, I'm excited that today I get to introduce Lydia Hicks and chat with Lydia, and I hope to see you guys throughout the rest of this chat, because at the end, I'm going to spin the awesome Wheel of Names. I have to show you guys the Wheel of Names. This is the Wheel of Names. And so if you have not registered your name yet with me, please do so. And I will add it there for you so that you can be a part of the giveaway. All right, guys, I will talk to you all super soon. And I'll be jumping on live with Lydia in just a few minutes. Hello, people. Thanks again for joining me. All right, I have with me Lydia, and I'm so excited to be chatting with her today.
Hi. Hey, I'm so glad to be home, stateside.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you just had like a super long day of travel, right?
Yeah, it was a bit of a time warp. But I just flew in from Germany, the Hamburg International Film Festival. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna ask what you were up to. Whoa, how was that?
It was so fun. And actually the week before, I was at the Vienna Film Festival, so it was a whole 10 days total, and now I'm congested as you can hear, but I'm all busted up. But it's so good to see you.
I'm so glad that you're here, even though you just went on this whole worldwide adventure. I'm
Me
happy to
too.
see you.
Thanks so
I
much
feel
for
like it's
that.
been a million years.
I know. Thanks for that rundown. Everything you do is so helpful.
Aww, that feels so good. I'm so happy that it feels that way. I feel like it's cool because, I'm not a graphic designer at all, but I feel like it's nice to be able to figure out tools that are helpful for us to get things done easier, faster, and they still look really good. So
Totally.
it's a win. It's a win. So Lydia, I did introduce you just a little bit and told people a little bit about Black Eden and Idlewild, and just a little bit about what you've created there with the artist residency, and just the restoration of what was, founded as a Black resort town. And I would love if you just told us a little bit more about yourself, a little bit more about Idlewild, honestly, however you want to jump in, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, that's so much. As you know, I get so passionate about Idlewild, and it's been currently my obsession for the last few years. It's in rural Michigan, and it's just filled with incredible amounts of history. Excuse me. And I've been lucky enough, as I've created a few, or actually relaunched a few groups that the community had already done. Um, the main one being the Idlewild Garden Club, which was started in the 50s. It's brought together other community members, and they've been giving me access to their personal archives. So it's just been like this long, incredible rabbit hole of like um, helping people get access to just services that are lacking there, because it's so rural, um, and it's one of the lowest, excuse me, it's one of the lowest income counties
Oh,
in
it's okay.
Michigan.
Hmm.
and and also just helping to hopefully preserve the the archives that people have, and help other artists get access to them so that we can create more art. So one of my exciting findings in all of this is really that the archive in Idlewild in particular was created and and protected by artists all this time. The community was founded in 1912, and
That's amazing.
I know there's newsreel footage from the 20s that show a poet in residence in the 1920s, and then
Oh, wow.
yeah, there's this whole series called the Idlewild Yearbook and the Idlewilders magazine,
Hmm.
and those were all created by Katie Davis, who was a photographer um, based in Idlewild in Detroit. And so it's really like a dream come true, honestly. It's like those things that we hope, that we imagine in our mind exist, and like our and that artists today carry on the tradition. Like Noah Davis worked on that a lot in regards of like meshing like urban planning and archiving and painting. So it's really, I feel really excited
Lydia,
and blessed.
how
Yeah.
did you find out about Idlewild? Like, how did you first hear about, hey, there's this historic town where, Black people used to go to resort, to like relax and escape? And I'm super curious about how you even found out about it.
Totally. So it started in when I was in grad school at um at Cal Arts. There's a resort town there that's about 15 minutes from campus, called Valverde. And I was hanging out with a friend one day who her sibling runs in and is like, there's all these Black people in the park, and we're like, what? And we all run down there, and sure enough, they have like a family reunion basically every year, and in remembrance of their childhoods growing up. Valverde was known as the Black Palm Springs of Hollywood, and it had the only swimming pool in LA County where Black folks could go to swim year round. Um, and it was dedicated by Hattie McDaniels, the swimming pool. So that sent me off. I'm from a low income background, and so I never even like I hardly went on vacation before, so it was like a totally new, it's just not something
Yeah.
that I had thought about.
Hmm.
And then after grad school, as I was going on residencies, I kept researching like um I tried to visit as many as I could wherever ones were nearby, and I was at Interlochen Arts Academy,
Hmm.
and Idlewild is just about an hour away from there. So um, I got to see it, and then I kept dreaming about it. That was in like 2016, I think.
Hmm.
And then um, during the pandemic, a series of unfortunate and incredible events happened, and I was able to purchase a home and compound that I'm turning into an artist
Yes.
residency. And I was able to connect with the original family,
Who
and they
lived
let
in the
me,
compound?
who they built, actually, there's a motel in the backyard, and I learned that they built the motel first, and stayed in
Wow.
there, and then they built the house. um, his mom was a teacher, and she like designed and ran the whole thing. And then he told me that Little Richard and the Supreme stayed in the motel, which is like,
Oh, wild. That's so cool.
I know. So
That's so cool.
it's really awesome. And there's an artist staying now who is working on excuse me, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Who's working on several performance pieces in a mobile artist space. So it's not,
Yeah, that's right. I saw that you had someone in residence right now. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's not fully put together, but it helps me, to have other artists around all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, I wanted to do two things, and I know I won't hold you forever. You just literally came from the longest day of travel ever, but um, I did include in the like description portion of this video just like a little bit more um, about you, about Idlewild, and then some links too for people to follow what's going on, to support you, to support the development of Idlewild, and but I wanted you to remind me the name because you're doing a podcast series right now, right?
Yeah, we just started a community podcast. It's called The Supper Club. And
Okay.
I definitely need to use some Adobe tools. So yeah, it's so helpful.
Yes.
And the vibe that we're going for, that I think is really working, is kind of like a speakeasy. So like we go live on
Mhm.
Friday evenings on Facebook, and the community can either comment as we're going, or people are invited to just stop by. Um,
I
we're
love that.
recording it at my house, and it's been so fun. I'm doing it with another community member, Danny Henderson, and it's just, yeah, it's been really cool. So it's also another way to share like history and also things that are happening right now.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. That's amazing. So, where can people find your podcast?
It's on Spotify. Um,
Oh, okay.
and I can send you the link. And it's
Yes, please
also,
do.
we're live streaming on Facebook. If you follow the Supper Club, it's a whole
Okay,
profile on
perfect. Yes,
Facebook.
send me that.
Yeah, but it's all in
Send me the
development.
link and I'll send
So,
it.
yeah, I will send it to
Okay.
you.
No, no, no worries. Okay, so I will definitely share it because I feel like that's like we're all in development, right? Like everything that we touch and we do, like when is something ever truly like, oh, it's just completely done. So it's kind of an honor to be able to be a part of something that is in the works, that's just like being built, especially something that's so impactful and beautiful. Um, it's been so amazing to watch you just like build out Idlewild and care for it. And honestly, the history and the research that you do is incredible. And I feel like Black history is something that's so like expansive in so many different ways. And then it's also like, wow, there's an archive that exists over here with like all of this history. And the more that we know about these archives and the more that we know about the history of Black artists and Black creatives, like that feels so empowering. It always feels so amazing to be like, okay, like now that I know so much more about this history, I believe that I can also do this, or like I can help to recreate something, or like I can help be a part of preserving something. And it's just really inspiring to be able to see you do that and do it so well.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Well, I will say I'm definitely standing on the shoulders of giants, and especially within this community. It's the more that I learn, the more that I'm just completely inspired myself to keep going and
Mm.
to keep sharing. So I'm glad that you're
Uh,
liking it.
of course. And then you have your own practice as a visual
Hmm.
artist and filmmaker. Like you've got this incredible work that you're doing, and then you also have your own things. You're also teaching. Like, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, I've been saying now that I'm definitely working on building an ecosystem for myself, because as a lot of us experience, it's just not there, for everyone. So trying to be patient with myself, but also, yeah, thank you for recognizing and always being so supportive.
100%. Like, is there anything right now about your personal practice that you feel like has been, I don't know, like inspiring for you or kind of like centering for you in any way? Is there something you're working on now that you're just like, this is good? Like this is a
Yeah.
good like center of focus.
For sure. I am, it's funny because I have been working on the archive with Idlewild stuff, and it just hit me that, like, oh, this is the whole framework for the project that I've been trying to figure out the details of. So I'm actually starting to film that this summer, and a lot of all of the pieces of it are including the community and just trying to get friends to come. So it feels, and it's also in the tradition of Idlewild, because they did historically a lot of community theater and all of these projects that were both like activating their own creative processes, but while they're supporting and fundraising for the community and infrastructure and that kind of stuff. So um, definitely just like stepping back and being like, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't have to reinvent the
Yeah.
wheel. Black people are geniuses, and I'm just gonna enjoy the
Yes.
ride. Yeah,
Mm, that's so beautiful too. Mm,
totally.
no, I love that. I feel like, again, like the more that we learn about all of this history, the more we can just feel like both encouraged and inspired, and then also just like, hey, kind of exactly what you're saying. Like, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I can also sink into something that's, where there's this path already kind of set out in front of me.
Hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Lydia, thank you so much for joining me today. I feel like if there's anything that you want to share, if you want to tell people, like if they've watched this and now they've heard about Black Eden and Idlewild, just tell folks how they can support you, how they can support Idlewild. Anything that you want to share,
For sure. Thanks so
this is
much.
your time.
Well, definitely try to get on and listen to the podcast, and share it with people. It's we already did our 5th episode, so we're gonna be doing one episode a week in the summer and then once a month in the winter. And I
And
also
again,
have
the
a
name of
page.
that podcast, just make sure you tell me.
Yeah, the Supper Club, which
Supper
is
Club. Okay.
inspired both by the Breakfast Club, which is, an incredible, groundbreaking classic, and also the
Yeah.
tradition of supper clubs in Idlewild, which were really popular ways for the community to come together. And the other way is, there is a Patreon account associated, and so if you have funds, that would be really, really helpful. And also, for sure, just reach
Wonderful.
out. Like, I love collaborating. I love supporting other artists. That's another thing that really fuels me is developing community around these things. So
Beautiful. Amazing. And thank you again for coming. Thank you again for letting me host you, especially on such short notice. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time so much. Um, I'm excited to chat with you again and see you in person, catch up and see how the artist residencies are going, how your personal practice is going. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful evening. You can rest and recuperate from your amazing travel, and we will talk to you soon.
I can't wait. Thanks so much for doing this.
No, thank you so much, Lydia. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks again for joining. It's been such a fun ABC Studio session hanging out with you guys. And well, it is time now for me to spin the wheel of names. And this is like such a fun part for me because you guys can also see it. Let's see, here we go. Wheel of names. Let's give it a spin. Ooh, okay. Oh, I'm so excited. Nicole, I will be sending you an email with that code for Adobe Creative Cloud. I'm so excited that you won. If you have any questions about using the Adobe Express software through that, please let us know. Be so happy to help you out. And you're already an incredible designer, an incredible illustrator, and I'm excited to see what you do with this. All right, guys, thank you all so much. It's been so much fun to have you, and I will see you all so soon. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.